This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Level 2 has begun. Welcome back, SiriusXM, Channel 159 momentarily. We're just watching the NHL, college basketball, and everything else in between. I said earlier, just a couple minutes ago, we were talking about goaltending. We said Skinner's playing well for the Oilers. And Craig Button did a Team Canada today. What would the roster be as of now? Because the Olympics are around the corner. And I'm looking here now, Cam. He's got Aiden Hill.
Yep.
Jordan Binnington.
Yep.
And Skinner as the three goalies.
I got to be honest with you. Binnington is kind of hit and miss.
Done. Binnington's not good in 2 years from now either.
Yeah, you know what? Aiden Hill deserves it. He is. Like, for the way he played with Vegas and stuff, he's the best Canadian goalie. Put Skinner in the 2-hole. I like your Montembeau pick. And
Montembeau get invited to the camp.
He will get invited. And I don't believe in Jordan Binnington anymore. His best days have passed him by.
This is his team that he has. We'll bring Kurtz in a second here. He's got Zach Hyman, Connor McDavid, and Sam Reinhart on a line together.
It's a good line.
Verhaeghe, Nate McKinnon, and Braden Point on a line together.
I like that.
Brad Marchand, Sidney Crosby, and Konecki.
Yep.
Byfield, Connor Bedard, and Mitch Marner.
Good call. I like that.
He's got
Byfield's
Barzal
really good.
and Suzuki on the team, but not as starters, like on the you know what I mean, on the bench, or not in the lineup. But Nick Suzuki, Barzal, and defense: Cale Makar, Taze, Theodore, Wiegand, Morrissey, obviously Morrissey.
Yeah, Uyghur. That guy's good. He's having a really good year for the Panthers.
Not quite the same flash, though, we kind of used to, George Kurtz, when you hear of a Team Canada. Shout out to everyone joining us on SiriusXM Channel 159. A little bit underwhelmed by this roster. Kurtz, do you fear this roster? What do you think of that roster, Kurtz?
Yeah, the USA's roster is better.
Well, I mean, whenever I think of hockey teams, I look at goaltender first. It's an issue. I think Aiden Hill could be good. One thing from listening to you guys talk, though, I wonder how a goalie – listen, I give Skinner a lot of grief. You know, maybe Montembeau is some grief as well here. I don't want anything to do with Bennington, by the way. Unless I want to have a goalie fight, then I'll take Bennington. But maybe Skinner plays better on a more structured
Bennington will start
team.
an international war. You're right. We can't have that guy in international.
No, you can't. He will. He loves to fight.
No, he's a hothead. Yeah.
That's right.
And he's not as good as he once was. Let's just call it out for what it is.
No.
He had one magical year. He had a magical year, maybe a good second year, and that was it. He got the big contract offer. Good for him. And he's been, average since. I think that might be an insult to average, but it is what it is. If St. Louis could have gotten out of that contract, they would have moved on a couple of years ago. But I do wonder if Skinner would be a better goaltender than we give him credit for if he played on a more structured defensive team.
Skinner's a good goalie. He's a good goalie. Yeah, he's a good goalie.
But he's not who you want to go up against in a world-class tournament. You'd like to have a lot better.
This is the U.S. goalie selection. You got Connor Hellebuck, Thatcher Demko, Jake Ottinger.
Yep.
Jeremy Swayman.
You got a goalie for sale, USA?
You got a lot of goalies.
We can talk trade.
Exactly.
Who wants to change citizenship?
Goalies. Those are really good goalies. Like, all four are wicked. Like, that's a wealth. Like, that's just unreal, Gabe, how good USA.
They have
every country. Look at Russia. Finland's got Saros. Like, Canada's got, actually, I would say, the weakest goaltender crop. Like, almost, like, they're not good.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable, by the way. I didn't know we could believe that Canada would have the weakest goaltender. That's hard for me to find.
But how many other teams have Nate McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, and Connor Bedard on the same team?
That's true.
And Cale Makar.
And Connor McDavid.
And Cale Makar.
Yep.
Like, they and Bedard will be a star by then. Like, they've got star power. Crosby will still be good. That'll be his last hurrah type of deal. It's going to be a lot of fun. Where is it? It's in Italy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we back in Italy? I think it is Italy. 2026.
Can I ask a curiosity question here?
Sure.
I'm going to ask a curiosity question. If, listen, I'm from the United States. I'll root for Team USA. But if Team USA doesn't win, I want Team Canada to win.
I'm
You
the
guys,
same way.
are you the same way? I know you're rooting for
Definitely.
Canada, but if Canada loses, are you rooting for USA or somebody else? Or if it's Canada
Oh,
or
always
bust, I
the
don't care
USA.
anymore.
Always the USA.
pulling
We
for
got friends
Russia,
in the
Kurtz.
States. Yeah,
Yeah, I would bet you're not pulling for Russia.
No, I'm kidding.
That's a great joke, Gabe. You know what I do too? If
Are they
Canada
even
or the
invited?
USA's out, you know what country I go for,
Yeah,
George?
yeah.
Finland. Finland's my if North
I'll
America's
tell you right
done,
now, Cam,
I'll take Finland.
in
as my
international hockey, bro,
Yeah.
Finland are the king of third place, bro. We
They
win
are. I
bronze
love
medal.
Finland for bronze.
We win bronze medal. Like
Yeah.
they're playing again in the
My
final,
buddy's
they
from
lose.
Finland. He's like,
They
I
show
always
up
bet
for
'em.
that third place game, and they always win that third place game.
You're right, Gabe. Finishing position, 3.5. Better. Finland. Bronze.
Also, the ultimate
Bronze.
Russian, by the way. You know how many people would forget that when the United States beat Russia in '80, that wasn't for the
They beat
gold.
Finland.
They beat Finland
Exactly.
for the gold.
Yeah.
You'd get
Yeah.
you'd fool a lot of people with that question.
Yep.
People always sort of. You're right. That game, same thing with Bill Buckner. Right?
Yep.
People sort of, you know what I mean? Oh, Bill Buckner cost them the World Series. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
No, there was another game. There was a lot of stuff could have happened, right? Bartman. Yeah, well, he's probably the one that got it the worst deal. Bartman. It was the stupid shortstop camp. The guy played on the Jays, Gonzalez.
Hey,
that guy was booting balls left and right all over the place, man.
Great call. Alex
There was
Gonzalez has been
4
booting
errors
balls
in
for
an
years.
inning, and they blame Bartman. It's like you guys totally collapsed.
They ruined his life.
And
I watched a
Alu wasn't even going to
documentary
catch
on
that ball. He wasn't even going to catch that ball.
I agree.
Everyone would have done Bartman. If I would have been there at Yankee Stadium, I would have tried. It was right in his lap. Of course,
Bartman was an easy
He
scapegoat.
didn't
Right
even
with his
reach
bad
over. It went right
headphones.
to him. It just
That's
went right to
okay.
him. He didn't even reach over. Yeah,
It's the way he
Everybody
looked
was
and
trying to
everything
catch
too.
that ball.
Poor
That's
Bartman.
BS.
He was screwed from the get-go. Bad headphones. He had the blue headphones, and he looked kind of nerded.
He looked terrible.
He had no chance. He had no chance.
Poor
It's
kid
let's
sitting
look
there
terrible
minding his own
out there.
business.
Oh yeah, he's just sitting there, big fan of the game, and you ruined Bartman's life. Poor
That's
guy.
crazy
Apparently,
that when they won the World Series, they invited him back, and he said, no, I'm not
I'm
coming
with you.
back.
You screwed me hard for many years of my life. Screw you guys. I'm done with you. I'm with Bartman.
Isn't it funny how it's on opposite ends, though? Bartman called, they blame Bartman, so they yelled at him. Jeffrey Meyer, who won it's for the Yankees.
Yeah. He was a hero.
He's a
that
hero.
kid.
It's complete
I
joke.
was on the Indians on that game. That pissed me off, that kid, that time.
It was
Agreed.
Baltimore, not the Indians.
Oh, was it Baltimore?
Yeah, Baltimore.
Who was it?
You're
Was
right.
it Tavares? Who was in the outfield?
Tedesco, something like that.
Tedesco. Good call. Tedesco. Yeah. Didn't he play for the Expos, that guy? Yeah, Tedesco.
Yeah.
It would have been a home run. But I don't think he was
Yeah,
going to catch it. He lifted it. He put his glove up and had his eyes closed. I'm not so sure he's going to catch that, but it wouldn't have been a home run.
Yeah, that kid, though,
The whole
did reach
thing
over,
sucked.
though.
People
He
are so,
reached over
stupid.
into the field
Yeah,
of play.
Oh, he was
totally
way
did.
over. It was like by that much.
Ridiculous.
There's no way was that a home run.
Then again, Gabe, let's remember, they moved to Boulder for Tiger Woods to win a tournament, too. This stuff's been going on in every sport for a long time. It's if you can get away with it or not, right? That's the deal.
What was the
That
score?
30 for 30 about, 2-2. The 30 for 30 about Bartman is insane. If you've never seen that, you guys see that. Like behind the scenes that night, it was crazy.
Johnny's a 19-point lead late in the opening half, only to squander that lead. Hall ball under Shaheen Holloway coming all the way back.
All these guards start jacking up shots, and then Fiorio doesn't get the ball. Hey, Rick, how about stop throwing your kids under the bus and get your big man the ball, your best player, play inside out like you were doing earlier in the game, and you probably would have won.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We just watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It felt during the year that there was a little bit of disconnect with Wilks and Kyle Shanahan. The total points allowed by Steve Wilks' defense the last 3 years before this, head coach for the Cardinals, they gave up the 26th most points, defensive coordinator for the Browns, 20th most points, and then Carolina, they gave up the 19th most points.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, we got a good hockey game going on in Edmonton right now. We're tied at 2. And, of course, the Miami Heat have come back, just to stress me out. The Heat have come back on the Sacramento Kings, 65-62 at the half. Man, I wanted to take the total 225. I thought it was light. Now it's 235.5. It's still manageable. It'll probably still get there. Baylor are about to beat TCU at 62-46 with 2.5 left in that game. And I swear to God, guys, Campbell and Wilmington will not end. They're in double overtime now. It's 102-100.
Nice.
These guys have been playing, man, for like hours. Like I'm talking like 3.5 hours or something. This game started a long time ago, and they're still going. Campbell 102-100 right now over UNC Wilmington. There's 11 seconds left in that game. 2-2 right now at Edmonton. 59 seconds remaining, and the Seattle Kraken have tied the game. Kurtz, who you want in this game? I can't predict because there wasn't a heavy favorite in this game, so you weren't just riding the chalk parlay.
Well, since there wasn't a heavy favorite, I didn't play the team. I left it alone. Took the total here. I'm on the over. One, yes. Looking very good right now, so I went the over route.
What, you're on over 5.5 in Boston, Seattle?
Yeah.
It's good.
The under.
Not over yet.
It's right. It's 1-1.
There, a little
It can go either way.
Could go either way, yeah. So I'm on the over
it's
there.
It's kind of playing to the under.
5.5.
It's kind of playing to the under.
It feels like an under. In game, it feels like an under.
I said so. Listen, I said before the game, Kurtz, it would be a 3-2 game. Dude, the Boston Bruins, 5 straight overtime games. 6 of their last 7 have gone to overtime. I played, will this game go overtime? Yes, at plus 320.
Like it. Why not, right? They are playing that kind of hockey. They're playing close games. I do wonder if they're tailing off again, just like they did last season. If it's catching up to them, not having Bergeron, not having Krejci. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do by the deadline next Friday.
All right, I'm jumping in on under 5.5.
Too many
it's
guys
a good
hurt.
point with Boston. I think maybe it's the style that they play, too. They play pretty physical. Yeah. They're intense. They try hard every night. When you do that, it catches up to you. It just does.
Another thing,
just
Gabe,
be real.
Other than their top line with Pasternak and stuff, they're not, like, people don't understand. They're not as deep as you think. Like, they're a
lot of young players.
They're top, yes, and they're that's a team. They can get worn down. So I know the Bruins are very talented, but to me, they're a team I will not be betting on in the playoffs.
Agreed. I always think in the playoffs, teams will game plan specific for them to stop Pasternak, stop Marchand, force James Van Riemsdyk to beat me and DeBrusk to beat me. Don't let the two big guys beat me.
Let's remember one thing. When Boston was at their best, they still lost to Florida. they're not even close to that team when they won the President's Trophy and they were on fire.
And they might play
the
Florida
Panthers
first round.
Yeah, correct. Florida's much
you
better
guys
than
got to
that.
stop talking smack about them because they're going to score. That's how this works.
Yeah. Well, we're doing a radio show, a TV show.
Kurt's
I don't want to say
round.
anything either, but I have to tell you how I feel. Kraken better win, right? Like you're on the Kraken too.
I got the Kraken
right.
plus 2.5.
Oh, 2.5. Sorry, I got the Kraken plus 1.5 in money line. I don't got the 2.5, but sure,
I'm not Captain Chalk. I'm Colonel Chalk. I'm like the
you
Commander
are.
Chalk.
You're
I'm coming in plus
Lieutenant
2.5.
Chalk. Man, you're the corporal. That's a 2.5. But hey, these parlays are working for you if you build them right.
Dear God, they're showing outside in Edmonton. I'm like, what's that? They're showing out. There was some. I'm not used to seeing snow anymore. Just look cold and snowy in Edmonton.
Ooh, it looks cold
like,
there. Brr. Thank God I'm not in Edmonton. Got enough problems.
I looked up. I'm like, what city is that? First thing I thought was like, man, I'm glad I'm not in that city, wherever it is.
Yeah,
It's like, it's Edmonton.
Really
showing
cold.
outside.
I know. It's like the streets are empty and it's just snow.
Snow is blowing around.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll pass. I'm going to pass on that. All right. So, 1-1 Boston and Seattle right now. All right, let's get into some baseball. We got exhibition baseball going on right now in Japan. Your Murray Giants and Nippon Ham Fighters. One thing I noticed, I was looking at the Dodgers schedule, and just for the record too, I put together a real DGen parlay. I have USA and Mexico women to go under 3.5, and the Oilers and the Kings under 7.5. Alternate line parlay that I just put together too. But
that's the juice.
It was minus 122.
It's not even that bad.
It was pretty good. Yeah. It was pretty good. So Ohtani starts. Ohtani makes his debut tomorrow. Ohtani's going to be in the Dodgers lineup tomorrow. I'm looking for the overnight numbers here, and here we go. Dodgers and White Sox, 3:05 Eastern time, and oh my God! Remember we talked about this earlier, Cam? We said about the Dodgers. They were minus 110 all the time, and they just kept winning all the time.
Yep.
The party's over. They've caught up. The Dodgers are minus 245 tomorrow.
That's crazy.
Because Ohtani is in the lineup. He's not going to play the whole game.
No,
there's value with the White Sox, but I don't want to bet them because they'll probably lose.
Yeah, we say that. The Dodgers are going to win 16-2.
The last time I bet against the Dodgers, they scored 8 runs in the first inning against the Padres. I'm like, this experiment's over now. Done.
I did a thing with Wetzel over the weekend where in the regular season, if you assume the Dodgers are going to be an average of minus 170 each game, you bet $100 on them, how many games would they have to win for you to be profitable? And
like 105 to 110. And then even then you'll barely have a profit then even.
About, I think it was $820 offhand, assuming a minus 170 average.
No, but point blank, did you guys get into the one thing with the Dodgers? And they really do. They are the kings of this. They win by 1.5 all the time.
Yeah,
right.
That's
so they
what we brought up as well.
They win by 2 or more, or they lose, or they just lose the game. Like when they win, like 80% of their wins is by 2 or more type of deal. Like they really don't win by 1 a lot. They'll lose the game outright, or they'll smoke you.
I haven't done that math, but I'm curious as to what what that would be if you bet $100 once again, or whatever. If you
they were profitable on the run line. From the run line, they were like the 3rd most profitable team the last couple of years. But I know I do the market watch all the time where we talk about the profits. And dude, the Dodgers now with Ohtani, they're going to be like minus 300 favorites at home, minus 400.
I was just about to ask you that. How much is it going to be juiced up the run line and the money line?
Okay, imagine Dodgers hosting the Colorado Rockies at Chavez Ravine for 4.
Minus
what are they going to be?
350.
When Yamamoto, dude. It's even the run lines, the minus 1.5 is going to be like minus 180 and stuff.
You're right.
That's why I think the win total's the way to go, guys. It eliminates all that. Take the over 104.5. It eliminates stressing out whether you know what I mean. You don't have to worry about like the number.
Do you think on the run line we'll see a lot of as the season rolls along here? Assuming the Dodgers are going to do what we think they're going to do, and I don't see why they wouldn't. Are we going to see minus 2.5s?
Yeah.
Yes.
If they're murdering teams.
Right.
You
Which they
know,
really-
Gabe, like on some of the
they're
books,
going
they
to,
do it
too.
religiously anyway. The Dodgers used to be before -2.5. George, on my FanDuel account, they always love that stuff. They're going to be -2.5, maybe even. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not even going to get take back with these guys. That's how good they are.
There was a time, too, and the thing, George, the Dodgers are such a popular team, too, like on the West Coast. Like the Dodgers, the most popular team in Las Vegas are the Dodgers by far. Like that's there, you know what I mean? So like when Kershaw used to be dominant, Kershaw went on a run, guys. The Dodgers were like 50-5 in a 55-game stretch when Kershaw started. They couldn't set the number high enough. Like speak to Sharapan about it. Like, dude, they said, you know, Kershaw was like a -550 favorite. Sort of, George, think back like when Randy Johnson was on the Yankees.
Yeah.
He used to be like -450 and stuff. It was like crazy high. The Dodger prices are going to be stupid this year, man, when they play bad teams. Look, they're 245 in a freaking preseason game. They're 245 in a preseason game.
Like if they're playing like a junk team, they're going to be like -400 plus. Like it's going to be a disaster bet. Now you're the parlays. You have to do parlays or alternate lines. There's no way you take money lines with
or
this
win total, Cam. You just hammer the damn win total, and you know what I mean? It takes out. I won't worry about it this way. Like, I don't want to lay a -380 like tonight.
You're right. I agree with you.
I know it sounds simple, guys, but look, they won 103 last year, and they weren't even that good last year, the Dodgers. They had a ton of injuries. They still won 103 games. They're going to win a lot this year.
Johnny's a 19-point lead late in the opening half, only to squander that lead. Hall ball under Shaheen Holloway coming all the way back.
All these guards start jacking up shots, and then Cioriano doesn't get the ball. Hey, Rick, how about stop throwing your kids under the bus and get your big man the ball, your best player, play inside out like you were doing earlier in the game, and you probably would have won.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
We just watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It felt during the year that there was a little bit of disconnect with Wilkes and Kyle Shanahan. The total points allowed by Steve Wilkes' defense the last 3 years before this, head coach for the Cardinals, they gave up the 26th most points, defensive coordinator for the Browns, 20th most points, and then Carolina, they gave up the 19th most points.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Gabriel Morency. We're kicking it. George Kurtz in the house with Cam Stewart. So interesting. I'm going to look up right now, guys, and it'll be a good example of what you were talking about, Kurtz, with as far as laying a price and how much money you're going to make on certain teams, right? We always talk about it. I do it a couple of times a week, the Major League Baseball Market Watch, I call it. And let's go back to last year. Why wouldn't let me go back to last year? Let's see if I can get this up. Oh, here we go. What am I, an idiot here? Okay, standings. All right, let's go. Yeah, here we go. All right, so here we go. The Dodgers, good example. I found it. The Dodgers, so they won 100. I said 103. It was 2 years ago. 103. So it was 100 games, 162. If you bet every game, you were up $807 only. You were up 8 units, George. So there's not a great discrepancy when you're 38 games over 500. You know what I'm saying? That you only won like $800. If you bet like $100 units on every Dodger game.
I could never be that disciplined. Never.
No, and you'd have to bet like the $100 units is more like 400 to win 100 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which you don't want to do. You know what I mean?
You're right, Dave.
You don't want to lay $200 to win $50 back
on their win total at the start of the year and sit back. It's like any future, man. I know it's like whatever, but like if you look at the number and the percentages and whatever, you have to do that. These guys are going to be. It's parlay material, man. If they get off to a hot start too, don't be surprised if these guys on some books are laying like 500, minus 500 and stuff. It's going to be nuts.
It's not a great division they're in either, Cam. Like really, if you're honest,
I know.
Like Colorado suck.
Padres,
San Diego are going to be average and, 500 type of team, maybe a little bit better, I think. San Francisco, I don't know what they're going to be.
I think San Diego.
Look at the Rockies win total, 59.5. Oh, mercy.
I don't know if they get there, Cam. I've done it before, and I've fallen short. Me and Kurtz have been down this road. I got to 59. I lost by half a game. Remember, I lost in the last game of the year.
I remember that.
Oh, that's so crazy. Come on. Remember the Rockies, too? They won a few in a row. You're like, hey, Rockies. And then they went on like 17. They lost like 18 out of their last 20. It's like, yeah, they're a hard team to trust. And the thing is,
that
even
owner
the teams
just
in their
doesn't
division.
care.
No, he doesn't care about it. Yeah, exactly. And another thing is, look at their division. They just get beaten up. The Dodgers get to play them so many times, and Arizona's
not as many as they used to, though. But still,
not as much anymore.
Yeah,
not as much.
But still,
Arizona are good. I think Arizona going to be good again, guys. I don't know about you, but I think Arizona will be good again.
Yes,
agreed.
I agree.
Yeah. Not Dodgers good, but I think they're in the playoffs definitely.
All right, so Arizona's win total. Let's start off with the top teams because it seems obvious, but I think there's money to be made with these teams. So the Arizona Diamondbacks win total is 83.5. Looking at this division, if they're in, I don't see they're going to win 90-ish type games, 88, 92 type of games. I think we all agree Arizona over 83.5.
Yeah,
over.
Lean that way.
The Atlanta Braves are 101.5.
That's too high.
Under.
I don't know if it is.
Know what it is, Gabe? Though, even though their division, the Phillies are good. The Mets have major problems, but it's just that's a lot of wins, man. They got to win 102 games.
They won 104 last year.
Yeah,
I'm going to go under. I don't like the Braves pitching staff. I mean, once again, I think that's held together by glue too. I think they can hit like anybody else. Oilers just scored to take the lead, by the way. So
did they really?
I'm sorry, that was dry side.
Oh, you're watching the intermission. Give me 20, George. They haven't even started play yet.
I'm on the over. I want goals, okay? I want goals in all of these.
Yeah, I'm looking up here. I'm like, what's going on? Let's see.
That's worse than me. When I do it, at least the game's on, Morency. This guy doesn't even write intermission here.
George, you fell for you fell. I'm watching the replay.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I fall for it all the time, man. It's the most frustrating thing. I fall for it when they show replays of games
2 nights
last
ago.
week.
It's like, you come up to me like
the highlight reel. You give me a big speech like your premature goals, or it happens every day. They score.
Now, Kurtz,
It goes to
I call
review.
you out, Kurtz, for that too.
Yes.
Premature announcement.
Yeah,
I agree. Celebrating when they'll show they'll show the Oilers Bruins from last week, and I'll see Oilers scored. Wait, they're not playing the Bruins tonight. That doesn't make any sense. And then you realize, man, it's a highlight from like 2 weeks ago.
That's tough when the sound is down. You looked up.
It really is.
You're excited. You were like, oh,
yes.
I'm with you, Morency. I get excited too. A lot of premature announcements on the show. True. Yeah.
A lot of snow in Edmonton. Look, you see this now. Look at this guy shoveling snow.
Every time I look at Edmonton, I get colder. You need to put on a sweater. It's a friggin' dude. That city. I used to live in the Arctic, Morency. Edmonton, man, it is cold. Like the minus 40 Celsius. Like it's that place is a disaster in the winter, man. It is freezing.
Hockey weather. So Arizona 83.5. The Braves 101.5. You guys think it's too high?
Yep.
It is a competitive division. I don't know. I don't know about the Mets though. The Mets win total is 81.5. Baltimore though. Baltimore's 90.5, which actually kind of seems a little light, doesn't it, for a team as good as they are? Like
Yankees,
it wasn't really a fluke.
93.5? Come on.
Yeah, if I look at this division, I think Baltimore's the best team. They're right there. Like Baltimore plays good defense. Now they got pitching now as well. They got good young players.
Well, Bradish, I'm not so sure they're going to have Bradish. Remember, they don't have Bautista anymore. All right, he's gone for that. And that was a big part of their team last year. You bring in Burns, which is fantastic. All right, I'm so disappointed they got up for nothing. It's just makes me mad. But they lost Bradish. I think that's almost in some ways evens it out. They're going to have they don't have depth in their rotation. Kimbrell's your closer, and he's banged up now anyway. I think their bullpen could struggle a little bit. That being said, I still think they win the division.
I think the Blue Jays total might be light, Gabe. They got some. Yes. If the pitching is better, 87.5. This team, that's a disrespect line. Like, listen, man,
their pitching was good last year. They didn't hit.
No, you're right, George. Like the thing is though, but Manoah, if he comes back with any form of skill, like if he has like a guy like not AA,
if Manoah's Manoah, they win the division. They'll win if Manoah's Manoah.
George is right though. The pitching was great. Yeah. They need Vlad Guerrero Jr. to have a big year. Like he needs to step up like this year. The pitching is there for them. Bichette is consistent. He's going to get a couple of hits every game.
Their bullpen
Guerrero needs to step up. No, like I said, everybody's so down and mad about the Jays because they didn't get Ohtani, which was, that was a long shot to begin with. And then I get it. They didn't respond with a Bellinger signing after. They really didn't do anything. They bring in Justin Turner, but they still have a very good team. They won 89 games last year, guys. I agree. The 87.5 is light. Every year the Jays are the same. They usually check in like 89, 92, 93 type of thing. And I think there's a positive vibe around the Jays in that clubhouse, despite the negativity from the outside. I think the team thinks that they can compete and win this division this year. I think they can too.
Love them.
I think they can win the division.
I've been pretty high with Jays anyway, but I'm starting to get higher on the Yankees, like what I'm seeing so far. I think this division is going to be a three-headed monster. Piece that are going to beat each other up here.
The Rays finally going to suck?
Go back to being Manoah. I love the Jays. Love the Jays.
Manoah's look good, and he's got a good frame of mind. Like I said, everything is positive.
He looks good, man.
With the Jays.
He lost a lot of weight, Gabe. You saw how cut he is now? Does. The guy's actually got a new diet and stuff. He looks good. He looks really good.
One thing with the Jays, too, they didn't get their off-season signings, but they have money, and they'll be aggressive at the trade deadline. They're always looking to make moves, this team. So that's another thing, too, that if they're good, they will be aggressive. They will spend money. They just spent $300 million on their stadium. Like, they're willing to spend money, this team. So I think the Jays are being slept on, personally, at 87.5. I think they could win this. I think they could win a division. That's a big number there, guys, plus 440. My thing about the Jays, they need to understand every game counts. Like from their first damn game to the middle of May to whatever to September. There's no, every game counts, guys. Go, intense from day one, and you can win a division. Get winning habits.
That's the difference between them
every game, every inning counts. Exactly. Every pitch
the Yankees,
counts.
The Jays will be on a hot streak. Then they'll go play a lousy team, and like they'll let Oakland take 2 or 3 from them. That's been their MO forever. Like, enough. You got to beat the loser teams in the league, and that's what they do. They can compete with the big boys. They always show up, and then they take the pedal off the metal. Excellent point, Morency. That's been their Achilles heel for years. Stop screwing around with bad teams and win. Hey, it's like we say in baseball. You take 2 of 3. You take 2 of 3. You take 2 of 3. You just do grind like that, and you'll be fine. But the problem is the Jays, once they start feeling good about themselves, bad things happen. They got to have that mentality. They got to be angrier and more committed.
And how about this, guys? So the Jays were 89-73 last year, yet they were down $381 on the season if you bet every game. Edmonton just scored for real. You willed it to happen, Kurtz, and I'm not lying.
Yeah,
they scored.
Yeah, way to go, Kurtz. Live.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yes, I'm
Boston
sure.
also scored, by the way.
What? So 2-1 Boston?
2-1 Boston.
3-1. Okay.
You can't see. We got one goal. You can't get the other. Right? It's like
Gambler. That's Gambler's deal, Gabe. He gives you money, and then you're just about to go, hey, and then he steals it from you. It's like, what do you do to me, man? Did you just give me the money? Yeah, good comeback.
Yeah, by the way, the Edmonton goal just happened for me now. Just happened now. I'm seeing it.
I just saw it too, George. Don't worry about it. We're fine.
Man, I got Connor McDavid to score a goal. Connor McDavid hadn't scored a goal in 9 games.
Yeah,
I keep on waiting for him to score.
He said today he's not going to shoot on net anymore. He just wants assists.
I think Boston might have scored again, Gabe. You're plus 2.5 and whatever. We could be in big trouble here. I got Kraken plus 1.5 too. Something happened in that game.
No, Morgan Geekie got hit in the head. Morgan Geekie took a puck to the head.
Okay.
Oh, man, you're freaking me out here, Cam.
I'm sorry. I don't mean premature announcement. Earth style.
We got big problems. I think they scored again.
We got big problems.
Johnny's a 19-point lead late in the opening half, only to squander that lead. Hall ball under Shaheen Holloway coming all the way back.
All these guards start jacking up shots, and then Fiorio doesn't get the ball. Hey, Rick, how about stop throwing your kids under the bus and get your big man the ball, your best player, play inside out like you were doing earlier in the game, and you probably would have won.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We just watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened here. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It felt during the year that there was a little bit of disconnect with Wilkes and Kyle Shanahan. The total points allowed by Steve Wilkes' defense the last 3 years before this, head coach for the Cardinals, they gave up the 26th most points, defensive coordinator for the Browns, 20th most points, and then Carolina, they gave up the 19th most points.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Well, the Miami Heat are doing it. They're beating the Sacramento Kings 94-81 right now. Unbelievable. The no one in the lineup deal wins again. Or it looks like it's about to.
It's the best angle, Gabe. It's a great angle.
It really is. And Sacramento suck, and they played last night, and they're flakes. So yep. Here we are, 95-81 with $1:33 left in the third quarter of play. The Miami Heat are currently minus 7.5. The total is 237.5. Right now, George Kurtz kicking with us. We were just talking some baseball futures. We got our eye on the NHL game as well. Right now in Seattle and in Edmonton, 3-2 for the Edmonton Oilers with 15 minutes left, and the Boston Bruins are leading 2-1 over the Kraken right now. Late in the second period of play, we're about to go to the intermission. Actually, 2-1 there. Talking some baseball futures. Ohtani set to make his Dodger debut tomorrow in the exhibition season. The Dodgers are minus 245 favorites over the Chicago White Sox. And we were talking about how it's hard to make money betting on teams that are good. You can make money betting on bad teams in baseball, right? But good teams, it's hard to make money on them. They're such big favorites all the time. And, look at the Blue Jays. That's crazy. The Blue Jays are 16 games over 500, but you actually lost $381 betting on them all the time, which is pretty whacked. The Houston Astros, they were 90-72. They were a plus $87 at the end of the year. Imagine betting 162 games, George, for $87.
For not even an amount I could take my family out to dinner for. No, I can't imagine that. That would not.
At least you're up $87 rather than down $87.
How about this? The Detroit Tigers, good example. The Tigers were 78-84. They were plus $1,464.
That's why you bet on the Tigers, baby. Dogs.
Bad team.
More dogs. Yep. Bad teams are baseball bets. Correct.
Except Oakland were bad. Yeah. Oakland, you were up $2,652 if you bet against them every game.
That's good.
They had that one
Kansas City
where they played
I think Kansas City got murdered last year, too. They're down like over a dime, right?
Oh, Kansas City were big-time money burners. They were down $2,539 last year.
Yeah, that's
big turnaround coming this year for them.
Yeah, you're right. Get your Royals money back, Gabe, in 1 year.
They only won 56 games last year. It's a terrible, terrible division. So here, let's get back to the futures here. What catches our eye? So we all agree about Arizona. Arizona 83.5. That's very manageable. It's a good number. We all agree about the Dodgers.
Arizona and Toronto.
And Toronto, we agree to the over as well. All right, so Boston Red Sox, 79.5. Seems about right for them. You think they're not a 500 team?
Not as currently constructed. This is a bad team. I mean, there's talk today, Peter Gammons reported that the Red Sox and Montgomery had a good meeting. You sign Montgomery, I can be on board with this. Yeah, I think he'll add a couple of wins there. But other than that, I think this is a 75-win team. I would take the under right now.
The Cubs are 83.5. Now they got Bellinger back. That seems light. It's a bad division, that division.
I agree.
I like Cincinnati at 81.5. This is the year, Gabe.
I love Cincinnati this year.
Their pitching's pretty good. They got a lot of good young players on that team. If they actually step up, Gabe, I'm telling you, the Reds are. I know it's hard to back the Reds. They've always disappointed.
No, they do. They do that. Young studs, that team.
They sure do.
They need one more pitcher, one more starting pitcher. Green, Abbott, and I don't know Frankie Montas how good he's going to be or how many innings he can throw for them. Graham Ashcraft, Nick Martinez, one more starting pitcher. If they were to sign Montgomery and Snell's not going there, they would be. They can hit. I know they can hit. I just one more starting pitcher, but I think they'll be there at the end because there's no great team in the Central, none.
I don't really trust the Cardinals. No one in this division. And, we're betting real money on this, so no one really is 75.5 too light for the Pirates. It's a pretty light number.
I mean, I kind of like the team. O'Neal Cruz will play a full season. Brian Hayes, maybe he finally figures it out here. Brian Reynolds, nice. The starting pitching is not terrible, but it's not good. Hey, Aroldis Chapman's there. I'm sure that'll help.
This is the year, Gabe. The Brewers, their beer goes flat. Flat beer.
They're done.
No carbonation. They're 77.5. I know it's light. Milwaukee, I look at their lineup. It reeks. Like, they're not very good.
They better hope Churio's the real deal, the next Julio Rodriguez, and he tears it up right away. If not, they're an under team. They're no Woodruff, no Burns. No, they're an under team.
I got problems.
The Washington Nationals, 66.5.
I think we can get there. Can't we?
I think
they were kind of competitive down the stretch.
They were ready.
Month.
Like it's
they
hard
play
to
hard.
bet. They do.
I'm always looking for that buy low. That's why I brought them up. Like, let's look for the low ones here. Like, so they're 66.5.
I think the
A's are 56.5. Are the A's going to get to 57?
I don't think so. I don't know, Gabe.
No,
I won't be betting the over. No,
they're pretty bad. Well, they got
what about the Angels at
72.5?
That's pretty low. But
I wouldn't be betting the over.
Suck. No, I like the under actually with the Angels. They suck.
I kind of like the under. This team sucks. I mean, my God, I'm looking at their starting lineup here. I know like 3 names.
It's gross.
Griffin Canning's their number 1 pitcher.
That is major.
No, he's on the Angels. He's on the Angels. So
yes,
that's what we're talking about. The Angels.
We're talking about the Angels. Yeah, the Angels.
This is the Athletics. Well, the Angels suck too.
Oh no! We're talking about the
Angels
going to suck too. They both suck. How about they both stink? Is that true?
I'm saying I wouldn't want to bet. If you force me to bet, George, if you force me to bet, I'm not betting the over. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, yeah, the Angels are going to get to 73. Like, you know what I mean?
You're right, Gabe. I'd take the under before the over. If you had to bet it, I'd take the under.
Traded Trout. I mean, you had to trade him. You can't let the – you're not – this team's bad for another 5 years. They traded him last year. Yeah, but you and I both – everybody knows here. I mean, he's going to get hurt again. And once he does, that kills his value. I mean, he hasn't played more than 120 games since 2019. Gets hurt every year. I mean, I'm sure Philadelphia would love him as the hometown boy. What are they giving up for him? And that contract is a huge albatross. How much money are they going to have to eat?
And he said, "I don't want to get traded. That's the easy way out." So I don't know. What that could just be public talk.
They don't want to make anybody. You don't want to get booed at home for the next 200 days. So they're all going to say that. He has to.
But even Angel fans know. I know that it'd be better to trade him just to move on and start over. The White Sox win total is really light at 63.5. Low expectations for this baseball team.
I think they can get there. That's a bad division. Yeah, they're a bad team, but they're not the A's.
64 wins is not a lot.
It's crazy.
So what, 64? Low. They could lose, 98 games?
I think what they're banking on, though, is they're going to trade Dylan Cease. Maybe they're going to trade Eloy Jimenez. Not that really matters. He gets hurt every year anyway. And then what do you have left? I can see where they're going with this, but I think it's currently constructed. I think they get there. I said I don't know if they'll get to 70, but I think they'll get over there. I like the Sox.
Problem with the Nationals is that division, that's not easy to deal with. You got to play the Braves 13 times and all those teams.
Thing is, the Sox. George is right, though. The Mets got issues. Senga's out for a while. We talk about, the Braves, if they have a pitching injury. I think that Nationals actually, out of the bottom feeders, they're the one team that can maybe get there. Yes.
They can hit the ball, that team, a bit.
Look at the rest of the teams in the division. They all have flaws. So
I'm saying out of the bad teams, they're the ones. So I don't really trust the White Sox. I agree with George. The White Sox roster sucks, and it seems like they got trouble there. Reinsdorf doesn't care. They're not even trying to win. So the White Sox suck at 63.5. The Rockies are 59.5. I've been down this road before, guys. They always get to 57 type thing, 58. We're going to pass on that this year. We're going to pass, all right? The Nationals 66.5. The Athletics 56.5. I don't trust them to win 57 games.
Neither do I. And you know they're going to get worse as the season goes along. They'll trade anybody they can. Not that I don't know who they would trade. Seriously.
It's going to get hostile there. People are going to boycott it. I know they don't get many fans to begin with, but it's going to be hostile this year. It's getting ugly now.
I mean, wow. Maybe Alex Wood they can trade. That's about it. Everybody else is like a 2-year player.
10 minutes left in the hockey game.
That's a 3-2. Alex Wood.
No, you're right, George.
It's the only veteran they have.
I know.
I want to get to Pharrell's clip today. So I don't know if you saw this, George, but college basketball, kids keep storming the court after the games.
I know, yeah.
You see this, Cam? The kid on Duke.
That interesting. Got hurt, yeah.
Now, it's part of college. It is. The students love it. It is part of the emotion of all this. My deal is they do it too much. Like my Michigan Wolverines are a good example. Like the kids will only run on the field after they beat Ohio State. Not running on the field mid-season all the time and stuff. Everybody, it's all the games on TV. Oh, I'm drunk. It's always like they do it too much now. And it's like, act like you've been there before. All right, you beat Duke. You don't have to storm the court like a bunch of madmen because you beat the Duke Blue Devils, right? You didn't win the conference championship. Exactly. Yeah, you were you didn't win the conference. Like, all right, if you won, we won. Okay, fine. But you didn't win. You won. It was a regular season game. Chill out. But the other thing is, you can't stop it. You could if you really wanted to. My idea was, listen, just tell them you'll suspend them from school. Right? Say, listen, we're going to suspend you. And, that's a way to keep them off, resting them, whatever. But just make sure first, don't let the kids on the floor until the visiting team gets off the floor. Very simple. Just wait 30 seconds, have security, usher the visiting team off the floor, and then let the kids do whatever the hell they want to do. That's my take. Let's see what Pharrell said.
When my guy gets rolled up on in a court storm and they got to carry him off the court, they got a massive problem in college basketball. And let me tell you, the worst conference of all is the Big Ten. The Big Ten has the most pathetic policy in the history of college basketball. You know what their policy is? You have to do it 3 times before they fine you. Name one team that has 3 upsets on their home floor of a top 10 team in college basketball ever. No wonder nothing ever happens to anyone in the Big Ten, because no one ever has 3 upsets at home in the Big Ten in one season of a top 10 team. That's when you see court storming. And then, certain conferences, 100,000. Some are 25,000. Some are a measly 5,000. That's like the dinner bill for the team when they go to the restaurant. College basketball has a massive problem. And I said this the other day, simple. If you storm the court, what they should do is catch as many of them as they can, because they can't catch them all. Just catch the ones you want and put them in jail. And leave them in there for a couple of weeks, see how they like that.
Pharrell, put him in jail.
Lock him up.
Sorry.
No, mine was you get suspended from school for a week or 2. I was
can't catch everybody. Throw them in jail. It's like the patrol. Remember at public skating game?
When I was the patrol,
you grab all the kids. You can't grab them all. Some get free. Some get beat up. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Go to jail.
It's like a Bills game. They can't get everybody, but they get a good 500
they get a lot.
or so.
Yeah, they sure do. That's how they pay Orchard Park's taxes. Amazing.
Like I said, get the visiting team off the floor first. Pretty simple. They let the kids let them go on the floor and celebrate.
Put them in jail, Gabe.
Johnny's a 19-point lead late in the opening half, only to squander that lead. Hall ball under Shaheen Holloway coming all the way back.
All these guards start jacking up shots, and then Chiorio doesn't get the ball. Hey, Rick, how about stop throwing your kids under the bus and get your big man the ball, your best player, play inside out like you were doing earlier in the game, and you probably would have won.
The early line. only on SportsGrid.
We just watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry, storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It felt during the year that there was a little bit of disconnect with Wilkes and Kyle Shanahan. The total points allowed by Steve Wilkes' defense the last 3 years before this, head coach for the Cardinals, they gave up the 26th most points. Defensive coordinator for the Browns, 20th most points. And then Carolina, they gave up the 19th most points.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. We're in a 3-minute warning, level 2. George Kurtz and Cam Stewart with us. Mo Khan's going to step up and in level 3. Speaking of threes, it's 3-2 for the Edmonton Oilers over the LA Kings. There's 6 minutes remaining in the hockey game. I've got the Kings plus 2.5 in a parlay with the Seattle Kraken plus 2.5. They're trailing 2-1 in their game. I think I jumped in on the under 5.5 in that one, too. I did, actually. And it is still 5.5 right now, just for the record. Cam, any final bets here? What are you going to do with these hockey games? You going to stand pat? What are you doing on the way out here?
Yeah, I am going to stand pat. I still got Seattle plus 1.5. I'm worried about Boston winning by 2, but if you like the Kraken game, plus 1.5 is 40 cents. If you want to put another log on the fire there, I'm happy where I stand with the Oilers. I bet them when they were tied live, and I think the Oilers are going on a power
plus 300 on the money line. They're plus 300, the Kraken.
I'm thinking about taking a shot with the Kraken at plus 300, to be honest with you. They're only down
pretty big price, George, plus 300.
You're damn right it is.
I think I am going to take a shot because I don't think I'm going to get the over in Edmonton. Oh, maybe. They're going on a power play now. They can score a goal here. Maybe get the empty netter. I think I'm going to – I need to hit one of these 2 overs to have money on the night.
What do you have, 6.5?
So. Edmonton, yes. I wish it was 5.5. I'm pretty sure it was 6.5. And I know same thing with Boston, Seattle. Boston's 5.5. So I need some goals here. So I just want to hit one. Just hit one and it'd be a decent night.
A lot of unders, guys. On Sunday, I think the unders gave were like 1 and 6. Think about it. Like the Rangers, Columbus under, Buffalo, Carolina under, Detroit, Chicago under, Nashville Ducks under. A lot of
there's no method to the NHL's madness with overs and unders.
None.
There was a ton of overs all week too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right?
Every day.
I don't know. Maybe there's specific days, actually. I remember Cooley has told us that. That was years ago. I remember Cooley goes, guys, if you're going to bet unders on Monday night. Monday, lowest scoring night of the – he had the numbers. Lowest scoring night of the week. Mondays, guys.
Hey, Gabe, you and Cam, you're into my fridge again, you idiots. It's like, hey, cool.
Who ate my cheese?
Yeah, who ate my cheese? We didn't touch it.
Who put cheese in my fridge?
It was Ludsey used to steal the blues, too, not us.